morning, Mr. Joshi. I am Shiza Akhtar, an intern at EDUTV as well as 12th grader at Khalga Public School, Alaknanda. EDUTV is a channel with a million eyes across 28 countries. It's an absolute honor to have you with us today. Allow me to briefly introduce you to our viewers.
Surely, yeah.
Mr. Pankaj Joshi is the highly respected principal of Kundan Vidya Mandir, Ludhiana, a school that has become synonymous with academic excellence, strong values, and student empowerment. Under his guidance, with decades of experience in shaping future-ready learners, Mr. Joshi brings deep insights into one of the most crucial transitions students go through, the move from school to university. Let's begin our conversation on today's theme, transitioning from schools to university. So my first question for you is that today's students are exposed to many career paths and academic options. In your experience, how can students choose a university and course that not only fits their interests but also support their long-term growth and adaptability?
Thank you, Shiza. And I think this is a very, very important question. And there could be many answers to this question, right? Or rather, there could be no answers to this question because it all depends on the perspective of the person who is, you know, having this question in their mind.
Yes.
Having said that, we need to really look at what this question needs, right? What a student needs. So choosing a specific course during the college days, it actually depends on many factors. The first of them, of course, is what is the dream? What does the student want to do? What is his or her dream? That's the first thing. Because particularly in an Indian context, dreams are shaped by many parties,
Yes.
right? And there are many people who are party to it. And it's actually to a large extent, one can say that this is the strong system of the Indian society. Of
Yes.
course, there are downsides of it too. But your dreams or a student's dreams are shaped by many perspectives. Perspectives of parents, perspectives of society, perspectives of friends, of teachers, school, and so on and so forth. And all of them are pretty important. That's one thing. So that shapes your dreams. Then comes your talent. What is your talent? Are you a talented photographer? Are you a talented dancer? A talented artist? Maybe a talented athlete? A talented, badminton player? So there could be so many things that one would be talented in. The third is, what is the inner urge to do? Now, I may be talented in many things, but then what is my urge to do? I may be talented in badminton, but my urge would be to maybe give back to society, right? So I would want to do a course which takes me to work in the social sector, in the sector of the NGOs, and so on. Then I may be dreaming, I may be having urges of different types, but then it also should be in sync with my grades. That's also important because universities look at grades as well. Then the opportunities. What are the opportunities available? For example, course X may be a very popular course during a certain time duration, but 10 years from now, it may not be. So we need to look at opportunities also. Is the market offering enough opportunities for the student? So as when the student passes out of the college, there is an opportunity for the person. Who is the role model? Who is the role model? That also makes a lot of difference because if you have a role model that impacts your decision making, particularly as far as your choice of university or your choice of course is concerned. And then, of course, as I said in the beginning, the advice from parents, the advice from well-wishers, it could be advice from seniors, it could be advice from teachers, from career counselors. But there is a slight thing I would say that many times students base their choice on the advice of their peers, which is not one of the wisest thing to do because your peers are on the same platform as you. So I think, based on these factors, some of them I've listed, there may be some more. I think one can shortlist courses that one is interested in. Then one can prioritize these courses mentally, apply for colleges, shortlist colleges, and based on how one fares in the interview, and of course the availability of the course, and then one should make a final selection. So all in all, I think the decision that is made at the end of it should be a well practiced and well informed decision. That is the most important thing.
Yeah, so that's a very practical approach. Thank you for sharing that perspective. As you know, sir, the emotional shift from a structured school environment to the independence of college life can be intense, right? So, what proactive steps can schools and families take to help students manage this transition with confidence?
Yeah, again, that's a very effective and intelligent question, actually, because this is something that uh, that goes into everybody's mind, particularly at a time when you are transitioning from a school atmosphere to the college atmosphere, and the two atmospheres are pretty different. All in all said, the school atmosphere is a very protected. You are guided by your parents, you are guided by your teachers who've seen you for 10, 12, 13 years. You know, sometimes you study in the same school, right through nursery to your class 12. So that's a very protected environment. But I think we need to help students manage this transition with confidence.
Yes.
And three pillars, there are three pillars to it who help manage this transition, right? It's schools, families, and the student themselves. So these three pillars, the first thing is they should proactively communicate. That's very important. There has to be proactive communication. Of course, there need to be some established routines between schools and families and students. There should be a very positive mindset. Yeah. School should be encouraging active learning because that is what happens in colleges. And you have to build a very, very strong relationship. Both parents and schools have to build a very, very positive relationship and thus address the individual needs of the students. For example, when you talk about building relationships, what does one mean by that? There has to be a very, very positive relationship between students and teachers, which creates a very, very supportive and inclusive environment, right? What is meant by promoting a growth mindset? It basically means that you teach your students to emphasize on effort, to emphasize on learning from mistakes, to celebrate progress, rather than solely focusing on outcomes. Focusing on outcomes is fine. There's no harm in that. But you have to celebrate your progress also. And when you talk about progress, there will be defeats, there will be wins.
Yes.
Individual needs need to be of these students also need to be addressed, right? Involvement of parents is very, very important.
You're
I mean,
absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right with that. You know that the emotional preparedness is just as important as academic readiness, right? So, sir, like some students feel pressured to prioritize a college name or ranking, while other wants to follow their true passion. What would your advice be to those students who are trying to balance ambition with authenticity in college decisions?
yes, I mean that's interesting, how to balance ambition and authenticity in the college admissions. Yes. I mean that's something which I always say. A mistake that youngsters make is they first choose the college and then choose the course, which is actually a
Yes.
very, very, very big mistake. Because going back to the answer to my first question, the first thing is you have to decide for yourself what you are going to do. Where and when is the second question. So the ambition and authenticity obviously has to be balanced. That's the first thing. So I think what needs to be prioritized is self-reflection. That is one of the most important things, right? So the student needs to understand his or her own values. What is important for me? What are my own core beliefs and principles? That's the first thing. Then identify your targets, right? Identify your activities and subjects and areas of knowledge which genuinely excite you. Just because everybody is going to study psychology, if I also start studying psychology at school, that's just an example, and I'm not interested in it, right? that would be a wrong choice. And also the student needs to be very, very understanding and knowledgeable about his or her own strengths and weaknesses, or rather, in a nutshell, self-awareness is very important. What is the person naturally good at? And this is a choice that parents can help in making this choice, because parents very clearly know, particularly those parents who've been very closely observing their children, they know what their children are naturally good at, right?
Yes.
Where is that extra effort needed? And of course, past experiences actually are very, very important. What have you been successful at? What have your failures been? Because if you have constantly and consistently not been good at something, right? Just for the sake of being brave, taking that thing or that course or that area, studying that area in college, I don't think is a sensible step to take. So I think students need to not be afraid to step outside their own comfort zones while in college, right? They should explore new hobbies, because all good colleges, they give you a choice of a lot of hobbies. There are clubs, there are volunteer opportunities, there are a lot of mentors, counselors, so you can talk to them. While you are looking at colleges, do a good research, where most of these colleges nowadays give you the option of a virtual, visit to the college. There are enough open houses happening online. You can speak, if you know of any, with the current students. You can speak with the faculty. And another thing that students should do while in the process of planning, particularly, they should consider a variety of paths. One mistake that students make is they are fixated upon only one path that they are going to take. So that's, I think, one mistake that people make. And of course, as I said, do not choose a college or a major subject, right, as they say, solely based on perceived prestige or career prospects. The prestige of that course may be pretty high, the career prospects may be pretty high, but you may not be actually made for that. So, I mean, the crux is how to balance, you said, ambition and authenticity. The crux is you need to ensure that your choices align with your values and interests, with a focus on your own personal growth, right? Because it's not, because going to college is not only about acquiring knowledge and a degree and the skills, it's also a lot about personal growth and development. That I think is quite important. I
That's
hope
such
that's
a
made.
yes, sir. That's such valuable advice, especially for students feeling torn between multiple options, right? And thank you so much, Mr. Joshi, for your valuable insights and guidance. Your thoughtful words today will surely help students and parents make wiser, more balanced decisions as they navigate this exciting yet challenging phase of life. On behalf of EduTV and our viewers around the world, thank you once again, sir. We look forward to more enriching conversations in the future. Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Sheila. Thanks a lot for having me on ABTV. Thanks.
Thank you.